Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Frosthaven. As you saw in that little screen just transitioning there, we've decided to push on to the Quattril Library with the team. I don't know if this is the left direction or the right direction that was alluded to at the end of the last episode, but I'm hoping it's the safer one, for want of a better way of putting it. I also did a little bit of reading to find out what the inspiration was that we gained. Inspiration is a bit of an artificial acceleration resource. When you're at 15 inspiration, if you retire a character, you can then immediately draw and complete personal quests. And so if you're running a smaller party, which generates inspiration when they finish various missions, you'll be able to keep up with larger parties that are completing more personal quests over the same number of scenarios. It's kind of an attempt to keep like a semblance of balance in, I think. But the actual intention, unless you play a lot, probably becomes quite nuanced. Anyway, Inertion has a perk available thanks to the last mission that we went on. The level ups that we got, we can't do until we get back to town. So we're restricted to just doing additional perks and things. Expanded Arsenal is a really nice idea. However, I want 2 extra hands, not just 1. I think right now, getting rid of the -1s is probably the best thing that we can do. Focus is fine. We've already done Intensify. Puncture doesn't really give us any extra damage. Retrace, however, that's interesting. So we lose a bit of damage, but we regain persistent abilities. I'm not against that. Or we go for the big hit and get the Outburst card. I think Focus. I think Focus is the smartest choice to get rid of those mines. As soon as we get rid of the remaining 2, we'll be really nice and consistent. So there we go. 1 more focus is done. We're almost at the point where it's entirely positive, at least as much as it can be. We don't have any additional ones to do, so it's just about what we're going to be doing on this mission. And each of your turns adjacent to a wall or an obstacle is an interesting idea, not very useful for Charlotte. Kill 1 or more elite enemies or 2 or more for 4 heroes. So yeah, 1 or more elite enemies. Hunter could work. We've seen Ascetic work. We just need to not pick up loot. So let's pick that as the default. Not big fan of Dawdler. We need to move faster than that. Sadist might happen. As for Seraph, Prohibitionist, we just choose not to use the potion. I think that's going to work. What are we going up against? Ancient Artillery, we've seen these in the last episode. Steel Automaton, we've seen these. Ruined Machines, we've seen, at least I think we've seen the Steel Automaton. They may be new. Let's get in.
Turning away from the flickering red right, you opt to move in a direction slightly less ominous.
Hooray!
Though only slightly.
I'm
You
glad
take
we
the
picked
steel
correctly.
walkway through the open cavern. The ceiling is too high for you to see in the darkness, and no creatures stir around you. But still, the vastness of this place is a marvel in itself. After a few minutes, you come to the entrance of a well-constructed tunnel. Its walls and ceilings are held back with thick metal trellises, hundreds of hexagonal beams coming together to form a heavy metal skeleton that, though well forged, has succumbed to decades of rust. Wide leaves of corroded iron have begun to flake off in several places. You listen for any signs of activity, but there are none.
Interesting.
You continue moving and, after a long stretch of time, you spot a trace of light escaping from a nearby passage. Following it, you come to a library. It is a large, rectangular room, bordered on all sides with bookshelves sagging under the weight of their contents. And in the center of the room are several tables and chairs, all of them thick with dust and cobwebs. But you are not alone. Shortly after you enter, you hear the hurried shuffling of metal feet. A line of security machines emerge from the far entry, weapons at the ready. They move with rigid certainty, their limbs exact and swift, specialized in seeking and destroying intruders like yourselves. Their focus, however, is only partly aimed at you. The majority of them are instead moving toward a pedestal in the center of the room. The pedestal is little more than a simple stone pillar, but atop it you can see a large steel pressure plate. You're not sure what the plate does, but judging how much attention the machines are paying it, you know it isn't good.
So we've got to stop them pushing that button. Throughout the course of this narrative, the sound's been coming in and out a little bit. I don't know if that's the recording that they've got, or if they've got like some kind of dynamic volume system going on, but I think it needs a little bit of work. And that does actually lead to a good point for me to talk about my general thoughts of this. I think they've done a really, really good job with the layout and aesthetic and the accessibility of the game, but there is a lot of stuff that needs polish. Tooltips everywhere. That's probably my biggest criticism. And I understand that that this is early access and there are going to be bugs. So the bugs are very much to be expected, but it should be feature complete by the point it leaves a beta. So entering early access without the accessibility, without a complete codex to take you through the various things that you may want to know about, I think that's a big problem. I highly recommend anyone checks out Paradox Interactive's games. If you take a look at Stellaris, for instance, their tooltip game is A++. Well worth looking at that and taking some inspiration. But that's enough about my ranting. Let's have a look at what we've got. All rune machines will prioritize moving towards the center and occupying the pressure plate. Hero and hero summons cannot enter the hex with the pressure plate, so we can't enter that. Prevent the rune machines from reaching the pressure plate. Kill all enemies. Sounds simple enough. There is a treasure chest over at the back. We just need to prevent the ruined machines. It doesn't say preventing the steel automaton. So they're immune to disarm, they're immune to poison, and they have natural shield, but they're not immune to wound. They are not immune to ensnare and things like that. This guy will be able to attack up to range 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we get past the pressure plate, we could ignore these guys. I mean, obviously we'll still have problems from these, and we have to kill all enemies. We have to kill all enemies. So if we're having to kill all enemies, we may as well do it right from the start. I think we should go in with a deadly shot to get poison on it. I think that is a smart choice. If we start here and start with the retaliate of relentless, deadly shot, relentless, hopefully we move faster than it. We might not actually. Prudent preparation and relentless. So we start off with a little bit of shield and get that retaliation on. Let's do it the other way around so we're actually going fast. Getting in and killing this isn't a huge priority, but it is worth us doing. So let's say we're going to do it with a javelin. And let's move forwards with tip of the spear. I feel like we're being a bit brazen to get in, and let's check the range of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd be safe on this space. We'd be safe around. Yeah, we can guard like this from these guys coming in. That's fine. If we move a bit slowly with blurry jab, step in, do a little bit of damage. It may still be alive, it may not. And hit and run to actually do some damage to it. Okay, I think this is a fine selection. Let's go with this. Ancient artillery is moving slow, so we're going to have time to put on our stuff. Oh my god, look at the shield on this guy. I am a little worried about the chonkiness of these guys. So there's our retaliation. This guy is going to hit us a little bit. And he's going to pin us in place, but he's only going to pin us in place. Let's start him on his death spiral. And we'll go from here. Banner spear. Get the javelin out. Killed him in one. Well, let's get into defensive stance, I guess. We are going to want to go through and grab that box, but that can happen after everything's dead except for the artillery. Unfortunately, this is going to lock us in place. However, we do have ranged attacks. Hang on, can... Range 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're attacking near with an area here. Okay. Well, it's only 1 damage. Only 2 damage. You know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that. It's not really a problem. And we'll come up this way. We can't really do anything else, so just... You can use the winged shoes after you've taken an action. It must have just been a bit bugged last time. Well, seeing as we're kind of stuck where we are, let's get the rallying cry banner out. I would love to be able to do a deflecting maneuver, but that's just not going to be a thing. get the banner out, and I mean, these guys are going to come a bit closer. Just in case, let's do the deflecting maneuver, get the shield on. And then next turn we'll get Unbreakable Wall on. So Drifter, you need to continuous health this guy down. And I would love for you to put Precision Aim on, but we're going to have to do it after this turn. So instead, let's say Shockwave. No, because you're stuck in place. Vile Assault will give you the healing. We can put on Sustained Momentum. Yeah, that's fine to put on now. Oh, actually no, let's put on Unbreakable. Let's get the shielding in place. May as well do Temporal Displacement to grab this. And then let's move closer with Kinetic Transfer. 1, 2, 3. It's close-ish. Cascading Reaction. Yeah, Cascading Reaction is now a move card for me. Like, we'll use it when we have to. And it is upgradable. Just feels like a card that you don't want to burn, really. Yeah, the Automaton are coming closer. And the Ancient Artillery are shooting at range 7. Holy moly. So, if we get this out... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be in range, which means the banner's going to get targeted. Let's not put the banner out yet. Let's just shield up and wait for the inevitable. I suppose I could have used this to back away, but then we still have the same problem. Ow. Dislike. How much damage are you going to do? 2 damage? Yeah, that's worth us. Making sure he doesn't roll exceptionally high. Let's get on our defense. And hit you. Cool. This does simplify things quite significantly for us. And we'll get an extra use of Relentless. You know what? We may as well... No, we'll save that for when we actually need healing. Grab a bit of loot. And let's move on up. So we're at the position where we can stab him if we were to use Tip of the Spear. We're not going to do that yet, and we can't do Combined Effort yet either. If we stand here, we could. Let's go for Unbreakable Wall. And if I go for Pincer, we could end up doing a bit of a jump over and stab through thing, maybe. If we had 1, 2, 3, 4 movement, let's assume we're going fast. I said, let's assume we're going fast. It hasn't updated the card. That's fine. We'll just read the left-hand side. So we would want to do something that's going to wound. So sand in the hourglass would be great. Something that poisons as well. So Twin Strike could work. But it relies on us going after him. Which may not happen. It's fine. Getting a poison on is probably the most important thing. So we'll go with Twin Strike and Kinetic Transfer. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could hop in and hit both of these with the damage from the Kinetic Transfer. And I'd be fine with that. And then Twin Strike would allow us to stab this one, move a space, stab this one. Drifter, we need you up and in here. We're not doing sustained momentum. You're like move 4 or something? Let's assume we're doing precision aim and deadly shot. The automata are moving slowly and they are hitting hard, so we do not want to be next to them when they do their action. Oh no, we do not. Get up close. This is going to be attacking at range 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are safe to get here. Get the precision aim in. Blink Blade. Okay. So we need a wing shoes. And we're going to hop over here. Do damage to both of these. We are going to get shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we're only going to get shot by the minor one rather than the major one. Ooh, do we want to use Kinetic Transfer to push things back? I don't think we do. It's worth us stabbing him to get the poison on. Good hit! I am happy about that. Step across. Skip the rest of the movement. Get this guy killed. Shame that we didn't get the wound on the other side, but I'm still happy with how that went. Ow. Okay, Banner Spear. If we're not going to be moving, let's put our shield on. If we do set for the charge, when this guy comes in, he will get a bit of damage on him. Combined effort isn't going to work. Oh, wait, this guy was poison resistant. Why did I bother poisoning him or trying to poison him? That was a mistake. Yeah, we would need to move across one in order for combined effort to work. Which means it wouldn't work on this turn. But we can set in for next turn. Let's say set for the charge on all costs. We step in and we set for the charge. Whichever ones come in, we do damage to. Which means we get to do some draining arrows over the back. And also sustain momentum so we can run through when the time is right. I feel like we should step forwards and take this thing out. And getting a power leak on it makes a lot of sense. Okay, we'll use sand in the hourglass to try and kill it. This may be a mistake pushing up as aggressively as this. Okay, the automaton are coming close and they're going to hit hard. Step in. Skip the rest of the movement. Set for the charge. Blink blade. Get on up. We don't need to poison ourselves for the extra target. That worked. One of our problems has gone. Draining arrows. We need the muddles on the enemy. They're not immune to ensnare. But it is, however, worth doing the 2 direct damage to this guy when he comes in. So let's just get the muddles out. Ah, the one that like we could have killed, we did nothing to. That is quite disappointing. Well, he's going to come close enough and just die because it's set for the charge. Hey, look at that. Combined with the shield, that worked quite well. Okay, we can do combined effort, so regroup combined effort. I need you to go slightly faster than that, so shockwave to move across. And there's probably not going to be much point in hitting him. But we can do bloodletting to get at least a strong hit. I think we need to get the regen over here, so sap speed, drive, recharge. Start bringing it back. Steel automaton is doing shooting with piercing. Step in. I mean, the shield is going to be kind of a bit moot, but... Bloodletting. 1 damage is 1 damage. Banner Spear. Combined effort. On this guy. There is no one to hit with the falchions, so there's no point in doing that. Hey, look at that. This will die from the wound on its turn. That is quite something. If we move the drifter across to this side, we will get some looting and the retaliation. Which feels pretty smart. The artillery is going to attack stuff at range 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it probably hit the drifter at that range. But it's not a lot of damage. Whether it's this side or the other side, one of them is going to move in. But the machines are moving, the ruined machines are moving in first, so this is the right choice. Unbreakable keeps us safe. Wait, why did you not come this way? Dude. Oh, because they're prioritizing getting to the thing and we've blocked the path. Unbreakable. There's the retaliation damage. That was at least worth it. Let's get our regen going. Because we need that. And sap speed is just kind of wasted, but that's fine. Oh no, don't tell me there's more spawning in. We can do a long rest. Let's have a look at the drifter first. File assault, crushing weight. We can stand still and do some healing. And get some retaliation on the enemy. I think it's going to need to be a short rest up at this side. Though if they're spawning in, we do have time. Well, we're not going to need it in terms of the health. Yeah, let's do a short rest. So it's just, do we want a long rest or a short rest over here? Let's do a short rest and let's set for the charge. Don't want to lose regroup. Let's redraw that. Fine, we lose combined effort. It's a shame, but it is what it is. And we can lose kinetic transfer. So we'll do set for the charge. And we'll get that rallying cry banner out as well. And then up here, do we go fast or slow? These guys spawning in is going to be annoying. If we go fast, we can temporal displacement at range 3. Or we go slow and we use it to loot. Let's go slow and use it to loot. And then we can do a blurry jab and damage something a little bit. Okay, the ruined machines are not moving. The ancient artillery is attacking at range 5. That's fine. So if they're not coming close, we don't really need to do much other than get this banner out. This is probably going to make the machines try and move further round. So, Drifter, get one of your bonuses back. I think. Actually, let's check. We've got a fair few on. We could put some melee stuff on you, and then you'll be hitting for 4. But I feel like you've got enough ranged shenanigans going on. Let's do this. And we will get back precision aim, because you're doing lots of shooting, or you're about to. All adjacent enemies suffer hazardous terrain damage. So that would scale according with the scenario. Well, he's only going to be able to move to there, so we'll just have to tank it. Let's keep the healing for now. Painful, he managed to get both of us with it. And we are not going anywhere. One damage is fine. Okay, let's swing across and do some damage.
A pile of broken, battered machine parts is building up, but you continue to make sure the steel plate remains clear. You are hoping this ordeal is almost over when a new batch of spindly, persistent robots appears from around the bookshelves in the back of the room. These too seem annoyingly intent on reaching the plate.
Well, we'll do what we can to keep them away. Let's lean into ranged. So we'll get the javelin out, probably on this guy. We could also get our reinforcement out so that we're ready for tip of the spear if something else comes down this side. Yeah, let's get our reinforcement out. Drifter, it's going to have to be a short rest. And we're going to do a draining arrow on as many things as we can reach and hopefully get at least one kill. Up at the top, I don't know if we should really push to get this thing destroyed. I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, getting right next to it. Let's assume we're going fast. Cascading reaction would get us next to it. However, I would want cascading reaction to be the thing we do. So we could burn power leak. Or we do cascading reaction to get the move across, and then we do sand in the hourglass, so that it's at least starting to die over time. We'll be on full health, we'll be in a reasonable position. I don't hate that. Don't want to lose draining arrows, anything but that. Sure, we'll lose deadly shoot. Because draining arrows is what we need right now. We're going to do prudent preparation, which will give us a little bit of healing on ourselves, and draining arrows to hit as much as possible within range. It looks like the banner is going to get shot by the artillery. We don't like that. 1, 2, 3. Actually, you first, because that'll take the banner of strength. Then you, then you. Not terrible. Definitely get some healing on yourself, because this thing is going to hit hard and stun you. And now's a good time to do the healing, actually. So Blink Blade. We could also just go straight for the treasure chest, but I think this is the smarter choice. Get in. Get the wound on, and damage goes out. Okay, Banner Spear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the banner is going to get hit. I could put reinforcement down here. He might end up being the target. Let's get the javelin out, at least. He's not quite going to die from the retaliation, but it's going to be close. Okay, Banner's still alive. There's so much loot to pick up. Oh my god, we got so lucky with this. We are stunned, which is unfortunate, but that was amazing. Okay, deflecting maneuver, regroup. We need to get some healing on ourselves. And Drifter, you are basically passing time, so let's say continuous health and bloodletting, because there's not much you can do. This thing's probably going to kill itself on you. Blink Blade, you're fast. We need you to carry on being fast. That would be a move of 5 to get around there. That's not going to happen without us burning something. However, we could burn Power Leak to run round and then do Twin Strike, which would be hilarious. It'll put us in quite a dangerous position, but this thing is starting to die. Or we do Twin Strike and then we run round, which is also fine. I like that better. Most of the rune machines are moving and doing tiny bits of damage. Reinforcement, you can kind of stay where you are, I guess. Yeah, stay where you are. So Banner Spear, regroup on yourself just for safety's sake. And we can at least grab one bit of loot. Blink Blade. Stabbity stabbity. That's really all we needed to do. So let's come down here and stab this guy. Blink Blade doing the heavy lifting. Come and grab the treasure chest. You have definitely earned this. Seraph Loot's Scavenger's Magnet Blueprint. What the hell is a Scavenger's Magnet? Well, with nothing there, and with us being stunned... the damage had to come eventually. Well, he died and exploded at us. Not quite what I was expecting, but we're down to the last few enemies, so we can consider this a very successful excursion. Let's start moving forwards and do what we can, but we'll move in slowly. We can still do big looting with temporal displacement. Let's say hit and run and drive recharge. This may move close enough to affect us before we have a chance to act, but we'll figure that out as time comes. No, he's going the other way. The priority is there. Okay, reinforcement. I need you to come round and block this path, I think. Or maybe stand in the middle? Stand in the middle. Banner spear. Tip of the spear. Stab him through. That's just disappointing. If I grab this, we may... can I tell how many... Right, you've got one loot bag. You've got 2 bits of iron, but maybe 1 loot bag, and you've got 8 bits of gold. Yeah, I think we can afford to pick up these 2. Definitely step onto this because we want the gold. And get that crushing weight. Right. Over here, we may as well start getting gold rather than healing. This thing needs to die. Short rest. Drifter. Short rest. Bling Blade. Short rest. Tip of the spear again. Sure, let's lose it. Freedom preparation we can lose. Temporal displacement. Don't want to lose that one. Hit and run is fine. So we need to get a hit on him quite quickly. Let's get Javelin out. And then let's say... we're not going to loot it because that will potentially be dangerous. Let's just say deflecting maneuver. Stay roughly where we are. On the Drifter side... stepping in and hitting him with Vile Assault would be hilarious. So let's say Shockwave and Vile Assault. Do a lot of damage. And up here, we're going to want to move 2 and then loot everything. So let's say we're going slow, Temporal Displacement and Drive Recharge. Let's move the reinforcement over to this way to block the path. Just in case. Javelin out. Even with the -2, we still got that. We need to get rid of that -2 in our deck. That is just a terrible, terrible thing. how far are you going to move? You're going to move 2, so you're going to go 1, 2. So if we just move to here. Drifter, get next to this guy. And give him a wallop. Three mobs dead. Not quite enough for the quest, but certainly not terrible. Okay, let's step round and grab the loot. So the only question is whether the Drifter has enough. Let's do some damage. Drifter's going to be Draining Arrow and Continuous Health. And Blink Blade, we can go fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got something big enough? Blurry Jab and Cascading Reaction would kill it and still allow us to move and loot something. So sure, let's do that. Reinforcement can come up and block his path this direction. Banner Spear. Still rolling badly. Probably should have moved the banner up beforehand. And I don't think we need to move the other guy. Let's leave that. Blink Blade. Across you come. There's a stab. Step across for this. May as well. Nothing left to attack. Just grab the loot. And the Drifter, you're not quite going to make it over, which is a real shame. It's pretty darn close, and that's the... It's one of the only bits of loot left. Still, that went well for us, I'd say. We have another level up. So between the party, everyone has a level up now. Jack of None, awarded for encouragement. Storm of Blades, damage dealt. Last thing they saw, most enemies killed. And we did manage the Prohibitionist, which is quite nice. I should have checked the stats last time, of course. Let's go back to the outpost.
While destroying machines doesn't quite provide the same satisfaction as, say, slaying monsters, there is a certain pleasure in returning the room to silence. Libraries should be quiet, after all.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around, you find that the room has held up better than you'd first thought. The shelves are packed with books, and many of them are still quite legible, though their pages are brittle to the touch. You while away some time browsing and discover two particularly illuminating texts. The first is an unusually shaped book, much taller and wider than the others.
What harm ever came from reading a book?
You find within it a complex series of diagrams, maps, you realize, that lay out a portion of this complex. You find the library, demarcated by a scribble of ink, and from the library, you can see two avenues branching outward, paths leading to what must be the central core of this place. The map shows an immense inkwork of intricate, almost knot-like design, thousands upon thousands of lines and shapes, all leading towards some great labyrinthian chamber. You turn the page yet again, and inside that chamber you find another smaller room made in a triangular design. The script below the map is confusing, but it looks similar to the common word for thought.
Okay.
The second book is even more helpful, though at first you take it for junk. The cover is dry, cracked leather, and half the pages have been cut out. The pages that remain offer only a dense, tight script written in a language far older than any spoken today. You are about to toss the book aside when a voice makes you freeze.
Interesting.
I say, you found one of my favourites there.
This is unexpected.
You turn and find a quattrel, short, dressed in rags, shuffling through the far door with a heavy ball and chain shackled to his ankle.
Of course, I've borrowed the best section on something of a long-term loan.
The quattrel laughs and fishes from his shirt a sheaf of folded paper.
I'll let you read it, if you get me out of this thing.
You go to the quattrel's side and, with a bit of effort, help him out of his restraints. You learn that he is an academic named Crane Talongear, who ventured down here 1 year ago on an ill-advised solitary exploration.
Wow,
he was
he's been down
eventually
here for a
captured by
year.
the machines and has been kept prisoner ever since.
Well, they've kept him alive.
They're quite rude, really, but they are an impressive force. Being their unwilling companion all this time, I've learned quite a bit about the Unfettered.
You interrupt to ask about the name Unfettered.
Fascinating, isn't it? That's what they've named themselves, these machines. A bit melodramatic, if you ask me, but I suppose it fits. Their origins are actually hidden in that tome you were about to toss.
Crane unfolds his sheaf of papers and shows you more of the cramped, eye-glazing text.
The language is archaic, but I've been able to glean the general idea from the illustrations. I believe that these machines were once used as a source of cheap labour.
Of course.
To what end, I'm less certain. But as their name suggests, the Unfettered work for themselves now. More troubling, however, is that they appear to be planning something. Perhaps an assault, if you want my opinion. And judging by their numbers, I don't know that any force above ground is prepared to take them on. I believe, therefore, that we, or rather you, may be the only party able to intervene in time. I can direct you toward their central chamber.
Well,
There is no need
help.
for deliberation. Having fought what machines you have, you're confident in Crane's analysis. If you can stop the Unfettered from attacking the land above, then you have to try. The only question, then, is how to proceed. Unfortunately, all this excitement has clearly caused the quattrel some stress. He groans and holds his head.
Oh my. I think I need to lie down for a bit.
Crane stumbles and collapses to the ground. If you want any more information out of him, it's probably best to bring him back to Frosthaven and give him some time to recover.
Well, time is something we don't really have, but back to the town we go. So everyone got 10 experience. That's why we got the level up, and a new campaign event has been unlocked.
The sun is shimmering, the seabirds are honking, and this day seems uncharacteristically lively for the town of Frosthaven. Large carts of resources have just trundled in from a successful expedition. The crops have started to show, and even the populace has exchanged their upset grimaces for more welcoming grimaces. It could not be a more perfect day.
Lovely.
Several citizens have cornered Sather in the town square. One speaks up.
We've stocked enough away and the harvest is plentiful. It's about time we had something to celebrate here. Why not open the city coffers and sponsor a holiday?
Sather contemplates the proposal, but she looks on the fence. You could probably sway her opinion.
I think build for the winter.
You explain the virtues of a wintertime holiday, highlighting that hot drinks and bonfires could warm the hearts of the townsfolk, providing much-needed merriment during the dark winter days. Sather is readily swayed.
It's settled then. We'll have a winter festival.
So let's put another event into the deck for us, I assume, for winter time. Okay, we've got a few things to do before we finish. First things first, before I forget, let us get someone training, because at the moment we only have one soldier. We can just use a bit of hide to train that person up. That will certainly help. We now have 5 defense in Frosthaven because of our lovely wall, which I don't think we can upgrade yet because we need town level 2 and we're only an outpost. So that will come in time. So we'll have a look at the buildings properly next time. But we've got level ups to do. So first things first, our banner spear, level 2. Meat grinder. Interesting. It's like pincer movement. However, this is really applicable because you just need to stand on either side of someone and you'll get them with it. That's really, really cool. Pinning charge. It's a ranged attack. Plus damage for each ally adjacent to the target. That just feels dangerous. Shooting when your friends are next to them. We're going to go with Meat Grinder. And we'll, of course, stick that in the deck. We've also got a perk. So let's have a look at this. Getting rid of the -2 is my biggest priority. Which we may not be able to do. I don't think we can. Still, we can get rid of the -1s at least. I like the Overwhelm. I like Gifted. That just flat removes a -1 and allows us to ignore an item's failed ability. We've obviously got one of the disarms in there, which we have seen crop up. Let's go with the bruisers for now. If we can't get rid of the -2, we'll have to get rid of the -1s and just try and introduce a bit more consistency, and this is a good way of doing it. Now, what are we going to swap out for Meat Grinder? That is the question. It's probably a bit easier than Combined Effort to do. Or at least as easy as Combined Effort. That's reasonable. Okay, next up. We have a level 3 pick. Fierce Barrage. Hit 2 things. That's not that amazing. On the next 6 ranged attacks, gain a target. That's okay. But the dual bow, 2 damage on 2 targets, and regain 4 uses of your active bonuses. Interesting. Let's have a quick look on before we decide, because we might want the extra target down here if there is something amazing. All damage at range 4. 4 damage at range 2. With a large area. Two damage at range 4. 3 damage at range 3 is fine. Yeah, having the target, I could see it being useful. But I don't know if it's useful enough to lean into it, as opposed to something that is just guaranteed to be 2 targets. We'll go with dual bow. And that's what we'll have. We've got 2 perks that we can put in. So we could get persistence. When you long rest, you regain a use of one of your persistent abilities. I don't tend to long rest that much right now, so I understand why this is more expensive, but right now, I think if we just put 2 points into focus, that gets rid of all the remaining -1s that we can get rid of, and then everything from here on out makes things better for us. I think that's what we'll do. Focus. And focus. We're consistently pretty good. Blink Blade. Oh, choices. Now, there's so much to take in from these. We're going to need to be quite specific. Heal 4. Refresh one of your lost cards. But this doesn't come back. This is pretty darn powerful. And remove all negative conditions for a stun, which doesn't burn it. Or hit for 5 with 1 pierce and do 1 damage to myself. Or move 3 and gain a ward after doing 1 damage to myself. I like both of these. Let's have a look at other cards that will get burned. Stun, target all in range 1, gain a time for each enemy targeted. We are taking System Reboot because this is run in the middle of everyone and then stun them all. Doesn't matter if you're going fast or slow. Stun them all, lose the card, get the card back. System Reboot. It has to be. Okay, on the perks. Let's get rid of that -2. Don't want it. It's gone. Bolster allows you to prepare stuff for the future. That's interesting. I think we should probably do the focuses. Or we do the meditate and just make everything hit a bit harder. Okay, we're going to go with the focus for now. I think introducing consistency into the decks is one of the most important things that you can do. So I think that's a very good call. Last thing we will do is have a look at the merchant and see if there is anything spectacular here that we want to buy. Algok's Warhammer could be nice. However, that would mean leaning the Drifter in specifically for that. Doesn't look like anything's changed at the merchants. At least nothing notable. So we will leave it there. Thank you very much for coming along, everyone. I do hope you've enjoyed this. As always, if you have, be sure to give a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so, and you'll be told when the next episode goes live. Otherwise, I'll see you next time for some more Frosthaven. See you soon.